What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. AJ here with East Coast Reacts, here for something special for Tower of God. Obviously, as the title says, we're going to be going over the family heads and what they've sort of thought about Bam and him basically being able to climb the tower or not. This is coming from us seeing Trauma and him talking about this discussion that they had. We're not really sure who chose what. We know what Trauma chose. Um, but it's kind of curious, what the other ones thought. So this is going to be my thoughts and opinion, of course, based on what I know about them and the limited knowledge we have on some of them, of course, too. So some of them are very might be out there, but of course, let me know what you agree, disagree, and what you think down in the comments down below. And while there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. So of course we're going to start off with Trauma right off the bat, just because we already know what he wanted to do. He wanted Bam to die, but now we know he wants him to live in the tower because he wants him to be a son-in-law. And but before he saw him as I guess a trifle, as he likes to call them, and Bam, it can be seen, I guess, as a potential threat. Someone who, he's with Fug, he's a Slayer candidate, so they don't want those fangs to be bored towards the Empire. We know he's probably one of the closer family members to Jihad, as his family is very involved with the military and some of the other workings of the tower. Similar to another one we're going to mention later on, but he's definitely someone who wanted Bam to die. The next person is also somebody who I think wanted Bam to die, and that's Hendel Blood Matter. So we know he's a little different with the family heads because he has a special contract where he's not immortal like the other ones. All of his kids and anyone with his blood is destined to live a short life. They're cursed in that way, and because of that, he gets that immortality. But of course, he has to watch his family live short lives and die, before him. So because of that, he's kind of been known. I guess they said he's kind of fearful of death. So I think he sees Bam as somebody who is a threat to him, his life, his family. We know, Castang, when he talked about Iraq, he was like, "Look, I don't want any problems with you because you're somebody who, if I have bad relations with you, you could come after my family, destroy them, and kill me." So he doesn't want to deal with that. So I think Hendel kind of looks at Bam sort of in that light as well. So I think he definitely wanted him, out of there. And the next person actually is Castang. So I think Castang is one of two. I think he was either indifferent or for it, simply because we know he's sort of using Bam as a chess piece, with the war and everything, and he wouldn't want them probably out of there because he's somebody who can get the family heads to act, somebody who can get Fug to act. So if he can have Bam kind of on short leash kind of, and manipulate where he goes as an irregular, and also a Slayer candidate, he can definitely use that to his advantage in a lot of ways. Kind of I feel like he knew Tremere was going to go after Bam at the nest, so that's why he showed up to the family head castle, so the local Bia family. So I think things like that, he's definitely caught always trying to be aware of where Bam is and what he's doing. So I definitely think he's somebody who wanted him to just either climb the tower or just say he doesn't care. Also, I feel there's still some stuff there with V and Arlene. He had love for Arlene, as a friend. So he was out of respect for your mother, I'll allow you to climb. But also at the same time, I feel he kind of has an eye on Bam because he's I hate V. Your dad is the worst person ever. So I feel in the back of his mind, he's if Baam turns out to become sort of his father, he's going to have to interfere and have to be I gotta take you out, kind of. So that's why I feel staying is in one of those two spots. Next up is Kun Erdogan. Um, I think he's somebody who just doesn't care. We know that he is not really involved in the tower at all. He's only about his wives and his booze, just having like thousands of kids, honestly. Um, so I don't think he cared. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't even show up till like to the meeting. Honestly, um, but we know like in his data self, he was a very honorable person. He did, have respect for. I don't know if he knows about like who Bam actually is, but his data version knew that he was the son of Vee and Arlene. Um, through some means, I gotta go back and kind of check out how that happened, but he he showed to be honorable and like favorable towards them. So like even as like an honorable person, I feel like he wouldn't want to get involved in somebody's climb, and just be like, just let just why do we even like bother with this? So I think he's just somebody who's indifferent. And the next person is someone we don't know a whole lot about, and that's the Tuperi family head. The knowledge that we do know about him is basically about him and his creation of the operas. He was the first, lighthouse user, and that's sort of like his whole like bread and butter. He had the blacksmiths, and I feel like some involvement with the workshop too. I think. So I feel like he's somebody that has like a very like wide reach in the tower, a lot of influence. I guess similar to Gastang in that way, and because of like his that involvement and everything, I feel like he might have been somebody who was kind of like Tremere, close to Jihad. Like he's involved with like the military. Um, Perry could have been very involved with like the tower and the makings of their systems, after like the journey and everything. So I think he's somebody that sided with Jihad, and wanted Bam to kind of die. I really don't have too much like really to go off of it, but that just based off that, right there, it's gonna be my guess. But let me know what you think about that one. Actually, I'm pretty curious to know what a lot of other people think. What he could have chosen. All right. Next one is going to be Yeon Ha. Yeon Hana. I think she wanted Bam to climb the tower. We know like as the the Yeon flame and everything. She's supposed to be like a gentle person. She's not somebody who's easily enraged, but when she does, like apparently she's supposed to be worse than like Hayuri. Which I find like very, that'd be interesting to see. I'm curious to know what she looks like. But I think because of that, she was like, we shouldn't interfere with this person. She's either like for or just like indifferent. So I definitely think just because of her personality trait, she wouldn't want to mess with him and like his climb. Just sort of on like a peaceful sort of like thing. So. Next there, we're going to do Arihan, the family that's sort of known for like using the needles. I think he is actually, he could be one of two. I think I lean a little bit more towards him wanting Bam to climb the tower. Apparently he and like his doctrine with the family, he's supposed to be like a bit of a pacifist, and they really try to like avoid war and like conflict in the tower. And I know one of his sons is like one of those three like lords, so I feel like they definitely want to like maintain like a balance sort of. So because of that, I think he either wants Bam to die because he does not want him to cause a problem in the tower, especially as someone who Fug is trying to use against Jihad and the Empire. But at the same time, I feel like he's like, well, let's just leave him alone so he doesn't come at us or give like him a reason to come at us, or just on simply like somebody like the other ones I said before, like we should just let him climb. Just like why go to the lengths to kill somebody? So I leaned more towards him wanting to climb, but I think at the same time, just to avoid any, kill one save like a million type thing, want him to go. So let me know what you think about him too down in the comments. I'm very curious, where he lies on people's meter. Next one is Arihan, the Sword Master. Um, he he is someone I think wanted Bam to climb as well, for very selfish reasons. I think he's the type of person who's like he's different than some of the other family heads because he's a little more involved, strangely, like with the tower. We know he sits on the 100th floor, but he also does tests for regulars. And if you take his test, he'll give you some type of like reward. Like we know, like Urek took his test. One of the two people to actually complete his tests. And because of like what he did, he basically got the floor that the World Heek song like bases on. And because of that, I think and there was also like another. I think it was like one of his daughters, maybe. I don't know what she got or anything, but I think there was like one of his kids also like was able to like pass the test. And she got, I don't, who knows what she got honestly, but if Urek got a floor, what would one of his kids get? Like maybe like one of his like swords maybe. But I feel like he's somebody that's like, he's waiting up there for challengers. Like he wants somebody to like make him like feel something, like he was supposed to be somebody who like before entering the tower, he would constantly challenge Jihad. Even the fact that he entered the tower is basically because he lost like a fighting bet with Jihad. Because he lost, Jihad was like, become my servant and follow me into the tower. So that's kind of why he's there. And also the way he kind of acts towards like his children, he kind of like shits on them. Honestly, just to I feel like just to get them like going, like have like some sort of like rage and resentment. Like we know like in Hoken's like flashback, where he's talking to his dad and he's looking at the altar of everything. He's kind of like, you'll never be like as good as me, like you're going to need to become like a demon, like harbor that like hate and hatred, like some like Jedi, like unlike some Star Wars like Sith like mentality, harbor that hatred and like come at me, so I think he's also like that just to get his own like flesh and blood to like when they climb the tower and they get to him, they're going to want to go ahead and fight him. So I think he wanted Bam to climb because he's waiting for him. He's like, this is the, who knows, he's like another regular's coming to the tower. So like, it's a good opportunity for him to really fight something and actually try something new. So I think he definitely wanted him to climb. The next one is going to be Eurasia Blossom. I think she's indifferent. I think that's kind of obvious. She's supposed to be like her, like her family, very lazy. She's not really involved with the tower and the politics or everything. Apparently she doesn't even take care of her own family, honestly. So I think she could care less about like him, just like whatever, I'm going back to sleep. Wake me up whenever, if he comes here. So I don't think she really cares, just like let him, whatever. So that's kind of obvious for me. And the last one is going to be Ha Yurin. I think she also wants Bam to climb, and I think that's because she knows about his relationship with Yuri. She's in trouble because she helped them out. So we know that Yuri is supposed to resemble Yurin in a very close manner, like almost like a spitting image of her, in looks and personality. So she really favors Yuri, almost to like an extent like where a lot of people like in the family are kind of jealous. So I think because of that, she took favor on him. It was like look, like let him climb. What's the problem with doing so? So I think she was definitely for him simply because of that. But she's also kind of like, fuck you to like Jihad and like some of the other like people, like, so at the same time it could also be like she doesn't care either way. So one of those two, definitely. But if I had to choose, definitely for her, for him going, simply based off his relationship and how much Yuri actually like cares about him. So that's pretty much where I'm at. That's everyone there. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Who you thought, whether you agree or disagree with any of my takes, of course. And yeah, so this is pretty fun, and curious to know what everyone's answers are. But with that, I'll see you all for the next video. Take care, everybody. Peace.